Most of the countries of the former Yugoslavia have yet to achieve European integration, but each one is advancing at its own pace and with its own political winds. Croatia and Macedonia are close to joining NATO and the European Union. Montenegro started late but is making speedy progress. Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia still have a long way to go, and Kosovo has just begun but hopes to catch up. Membership in the EU and NATO involves a range of important commitments, note many analysts. Robert Hunter is a senior European affairs expert at Washington-based RAND Corporation and a former U.S. ambassador to EU and NATO.
NATO, it's been very clear since it began the big enlargement process, so more than a decade ago, that countries that are prepared to accept the requirements of NATO membership, which is a lot of things, democracy, working on their economies, moving beyond the past, reforming their militaries, eventually will become part of NATO if they're producers, not just consumers of security.
Croatia received an invitation to membership at NATO's recent summit in Bucharest and is engaged in accession talks with the European Union. Macedonia also had expected an invitation in Bucharest, but was blocked by Greece over its name. Greece says the name Macedonia implies territorial claims over its own province of Macedonia. But Ambassador Hunter predicts that the 17-year dispute will likely be resolved in the coming weeks.
I think the Greeks are misbehaving here, and I think people need to put a lot of pressure on them. But Macedonia is going to join.
Cooperation with the Hague War Crimes Tribunal for former Yugoslavia is critical to membership in NATO and the EU, says Michael Polt, currently with the Washington-based German Marshall Fund and former U.S. ambassador to Serbia.
Europe particularly has made it absolutely abundantly clear, and so have we, that there is the cooperation with The Hague in the end result is non-negotiable.
According to Polt, Croatia's breakthrough came in 2005 when it facilitated the handover to the Hague Tribunal of a top war crime suspect, General Ante Gotovina. In contrast, Serbia's reluctance to fully cooperate with The Hague has delayed its European integration efforts. Council on Foreign Relations expert Charles Kupchan says Serbia faces other challenges too.
That civil society has yet to fully take root. The security services still can, in some ways, draw lines back to the Milosevic era. There remain deep divisions in the country about cooperation with the War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague. So there are a lot of difficult issues about the past and the future that haven't been settled yet.
Most Balkan analysts agree that the least progress has been made by Bosnia and Herzegovina, which has been under international administration since the end of the war in 1995. The country has taken years to adopt key political and security reforms demanded by the European Union. And Kosovo, which declared its independence earlier this year, remains largely under Western stewardship. The European Union is now taking over key functions from the United Nations in trying to speed up Kosovo's transition to democracy and free market economy. European affairs expert Robert Hunter says there are various ways of partnering with the EU or NATO.
The Partnership for Peace, which is a great transition way, a great way of helping with reform, particularly democratization. Then membership action plans. Whether all of these countries, Bosnia, Kosovo, Serbia itself, become full members of NATO sooner or later, or maybe not at all, their security is going to be important, and their role in what we call Euro-Atlantic institutions, that's their destiny.
As for Montenegro, which broke its union with Serbia in 2006, it has considerable ground to cover before it can join NATO and the EU. But most Montenegrins are eager to move forward as quickly as possible, argues Ambassador Polt.
They are willing to do anything that is necessary, and anything that is necessary within their limited capabilities to go ahead and make that connection, and I think they will do it.
Polt says all of the pieces of the former Yugoslavia are likely to be anchored in the Euro-Atlantic community in the not-so-distant future. Jela Franceschi for VOA News.